Just before we get started, for some reason, he's decided that now would be a good time to practice his entire catalog. So,
once again, foiled by glass jaw.
So if you hear an undercurrent of pounding and thumping, that is my husband, just, getting his practice sessions in. How was your weekend?
I am alive. It is Taurus season. The sun is shining. Things are blooming. My weekend was amazing. Thank you very much for asking.
Nice.
Yeah. So
What'd you do?
Well, I did a little bit of everything. I was on my home improvement shit, so I was working in the basement because while we were on hiatus, I had the murder bathroom and my basement laundry area. We did a little, well, I didn't do it. My brother-in-law and his buddy did it, but they gave me walls. So now I have walls and doors, and they needed to be primed. That raw drywall needed to be primed. So I did that. And I planted some shrubs in my front yard. And then on Saturday night, I couldn't believe this when I stopped to think about it. It's been so fucking long. The last time that I got dressed with a T, in heels and full face hair, to go out, was February 2020. And it's funny because it's for the same person, 2 years apart. So February 2020, I went to Asha's birthday party, went downtown, and had a great time. And then this weekend, she is partnered with the Contemporary Art Center. And so she's been able to receive funding and put together this immersive experience. And so Saturday night was kind of like the culmination of all of this work that she's been doing. And it was a fashion show, and there was photography, like a photo gallery downstairs of the people that she worked with. But it was so much fun. And it was the first time that I've gone out in public since the pandemic started. So it was a very big night.
Out. No kids, no husband, cocktails, mingling, jingling baby. Yes.
Heels
no, you texted me your outfit, and I was like, ooh, not the cage heel, not the snakeskin cage heel, Amanda. Give it to me. It's very exciting.
Well, I was very worried because, you've seen pictures of Asha. She's gorgeous, and she's always, anytime that I've gone out with her in public, I'm like, please tell me how we're dressing, because I know that it's going to be outfits and jewelry and hair and makeup, and these women do not fuck around. And so I can't even get on their level. I'm just trying to blend in and not be noticed as the ugly old troll who lives under the bridge. This was fucking black girl magic, glitter and sequins and draping and hair.
Well, listen.
So good.
The thing is, though, the thing about being friends with fashion people is that you just have to go in and just, through osmosis, just absorb their energy.
Yeah.
Because I'm friends with fashion people too, and it's just the great part about going out with fashion people is nobody's tripping off your outfit.
Right.
They're only tripping off their outfits.
Yes, I know. When I walked in, I was I checked in next to, gold sequins, black turban, and there was definitely a man walking around in leather pants and a bustier and vest. And there were, actually, I did catch a pair of Crocs in the crowd, which I immediately took a video of and made sure that I sent to you because I was sweating my ass off, worried.
Because Crocs are high fashion. I don't care what you say. Crocs are high fashion. And for me, fashion is most important when it's comfortable. I don't give a hot damn. I know that it's a raging debate in our Discord, and many of our listeners listen. We've torn the group apart
Yeah.
with our Crocs argument, but I got Kelly wearing them.
I saw
Thank you.
that. Kelly, what are you doing?
What? Kelly? Listen, Kelly calls me the Oracle. She said, if Melissa says it's what to do, then that's it. We gonna do it. There's no more not listening to Melissa. I'm telling you.
She just like exudes like rich white lady. I mean, she is hashtag rich white lady. She looks immaculate at all time. Immaculate. She looks immaculate at all times.
She looks gorgeous. Well, I
She
mean,
looks like she
Kelly
smells
has.
good. She's like
She
white
does.
linen and cashmere.
Yes, she is.
She also looks good in a hat.
I know, and people can't do that. I know.
I know.
You know, it's actually interesting you say that about her because some of like I didn't have like bad feelings about her when I left the show. It wasn't like that. You know, we just didn't connect because she had her boyfriend at the time, and then she went
Yeah.
on with her life, and I went on with my life. So like she was one of the ones that we really did not connect. But it wasn't like we didn't connect because we don't like each other. We just didn't connect
Yeah.
during that time, and then we didn't connect in the 22-year hiatus. So when we did get back together and we discovered that we had so much stuff in common, married to an artistic dude, fucking 3 kids, fucking minding our business, and she's super in tune with her feelings, and she's thoughtful, and she's a critical thinker, and just all the stuff that we had in common as like mom and women. It was just like, wow. I started wondering like, and she went to school for journalism, so did I started wondering like, I wonder if when they cast us they assumed we would have been like a yin and a yang and have gotten along, and then it just didn't work out that way because we had a lot in common back then. But, and this is something that she just can't talk about and probably never will, but I can because, it's a thing. She, I believe, is probably perceived so much as a very specific one thing in one box because of how pretty she is.
Yeah.
That people don't take the time to like see that she is a very layered individual who has, a lot to say and thinks really fucking hard about a lot of things. And so when we reconnected, I actually had to say to her, I was like, listen, just full disclosure, I know you hate hearing it, and you probably don't want to talk about it. And I was like, but we're going to talk about it because I have to tell you. I was like, you're really fucking pretty, and I'm sorry for anything I ever assumed about you. It's true, I felt so bad. I was like, I'm sorry for anything I ever assumed about you, assuming that you would not have had to want to have a conversation with me just because, you were well-traveled and pretty. Like, I just discounted her whole personhood based on her package. And the crazier part was she was like, I wish, like, she had a whole awkward childhood. She went through a whole phase of, like, super awkward. And, the person that you are in your adult presentation is who you were when you were most awkward. And I just never thought she had that. You know what I'm saying? 100%. So it's been wild to reconnect. It's that's Costco. That's Costco.
Chris got these things for me from Costco, and I just had a couple, and I was going to send you a picture. They're like chocolate covered cashews coated in toasted coconut. I could sit and eat the whole container.
Wait, give it to me again. Chocolate covered cashews
with toasted coconut on the outside.
Ooh.
Costco.
That does sound like something I like.
Fucking delicious.
Crunch.
Yeah.
Crunch.
Yeah.
Hold on.
They
Let me
melt in your mouth.
Let me just tell Justin he needs to answer the door.
To build off of that, it's interesting that you say that, like, you kind of form who you are based off of that time. I went on a field trip with Quinn last week, and while we were sitting having lunch, I was sitting there with her and her 2 little best friends, and I was asking them, I was like, okay, so tell me who everybody is. What are the groups? Who does what? And her little girlfriend was like, well, this is this group, this is this group, this is this group. And we went through all of it. And then I started asking like more detailed questions. And they were, explaining to me some of the dynamics between the different groups. And I looked at all three of them because these girls, my daughter and, the two others, they're kind of like how I was in high school, like kind of floaters. Like they have friends from all of the different groups and they kind of fit in different places with different people, which I was like, you guys are the smartest, because I said you'll never get pigeonholed into any one group and you can kind of like free float among the different groups and kind of get the best of everything in your school experience. And I said, but mark my words, the people who you labeled as emo, as nerds, as anime kids, as, whatever, I was like, those are going to be the people when you're adults who are the most interesting, because they had to form personalities at a very young age to get by. And I said, so just keep that in mind, that those are the people that if you stay connected with anybody, it's that group right there.
It's really true. I have to say that I owe all of my personality to being ugly between ages 7.
You came out of your awkward phase at like 23.
I'm dead ass serious. Oh my God, he really. Hold on, I have to tell him.
Justin.
Oh my God. Can you imagine you're the Costco Instacart guy? Hello?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, I said, can you imagine you're the Costco Instacart guy and you ring the doorbell, you ring the doorbell, you ring the doorbell. The person finally comes, opens the door, and says, bam, 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 down, down. It's just so fucking loud.
Well,
it's so loud. Did you hear all that? It was so loud.
I can't hear anything.
Okay, good. Whew.
At least he knew while he was waiting. He was like, oh, there was loud music in here.
What I was saying is, I bet you we're not allowed to say that. I bet you we're not allowed to say that. You're not allowed to say that because I think that for a lot of people, even just the discussion of pretty privilege, it's just a whole weighted, loaded conversation. But there is value in saying that if you're ugly, you got to have a personality. I believe that shit. I was awkward and ugly for a really long time.
Yeah, same. I think that, and I'm sure that everybody, there's somebody out there going, but I was gorgeous and I was also awkward. No, you know what? Fuck you. Because you got invited to shit and the boys liked you and you didn't have to worry about,
See, and that's just it. It's
your weird mustache.
Pretty people will be like, well, who are you to say that I didn't experience that? And what we're saying is, sure, you might have experienced an awkwardness, but we're telling you you were not perceived as such, and that's different.
Yes. And even if you were, you're excused. Nobody sees it because they're so overcome by your beauty that you could be awkward as hell. And everybody's like, I still want to fuck her though, or I still want to fuck him though.
I mean, no. Nobody was trying to fuck. I'll tell you that.
I have a hard time. Though, yeah, go ahead.
What? You have a hard time what?
I mean, I still to this day have a really hard time taking compliments. Chris is, oh my God. I mean, he's compliment city all the time. He gasses me every chance that he gets, and I'm always like, ew, no, please. Ugh.
Same.
Seriously?
Oh, well, actually, Justin Beck don't be gassing me. I don't like that. He gasses me in you know what? He gasses me in weird ways. He gasses me to, like, I'll eavesdrop and hear him gassing me.
Yeah.
He'd be like, dude, my wife's fucking killing it. But you didn't tell your wife that.
He needs to speak that out loud with his chest to your face.
No, but
Open
we're
your
both
mouth
like
and
that, though.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't be like, ooh, Justin, you be looking sexy today. I mean, I do behind closed doors, but not just for no ass reason in front of motherfuckers.
Really? You don't say it to his face?
Oh, all the time behind closed doors, but like not just like, but you know that it's something's about to happen. We're not just
not just
we're not
randomly.
cuddly like that. Yeah, no, I don't have
Yeah.
that. I don't have that. It's sad, probably. No, it's not. It would make me uncomfortable because when he pays me compliments, I do be feeling uncomfortable. But I'm also like, aren't you gonna say I look gorgeous today? Or
Right. Exactly. Chris gets ready for work and I'm like, if I worked with you, I would sexually harass you so hard. He's like, why don't you come into my office? And I was like, okay, then I will. So that's like totally part of our married. My kids hate it. They're so grossed out. And then we just escalate it because it makes my kids like, oh, guys, stop it. That's gross.
oh, actually, Shira got really grossed out. I was looking for my sesame oil after I took a shower yesterday. And I was like, how could it disappear? An entire bottle of sesame oil, an $18 bottle of sesame oil. Where does it go? Who took it? I don't understand. And I said, Justin, you know the oil for massages? And Shira was like, ew. I said, what? And she goes, you give each other massages? I was like, no. Who said that? She's like, oh, I thought that's what you were saying. I was like, no way. I would never give your dad a massage. She was like, yeah, that's gross. I was like, yes, so gross. She was just like, ew. I mean, which is crazy. And like every now and again, like, you know, we'll do like a light kiss and she'll be like, ew, God, what was that? It was so disgusting. Like, please don't ever do that again. Like a peck? We can't do that? Damn.
Yeah, you need to step it up.
I know. We're not like that. We went to dinner with Irulan and her husband, and they're like that. Like, she gets up to go to the bathroom and like she leans over the table and gives him a nice like warm embrace and kiss, and then when she comes back, she like runs her hands along his back before she goes back into her seat. I was like, what the hell is going?
Who fucking tonight?
Yeah, I was like, what's going on here? Me and
That's
Justin are looking at each
another-
other like,
That's another person who's incredibly beautiful.
She's so pretty. It's outrageous. It's crazy. Yeah, crazy.
That's nice. Was that you had dinner? Was that Friday night or Thursday night?
We had a date night on Saturday night.
Ooh.
But like I love going to dinner with her and her husband because Justin and her husband just go into their own world, and then she and I can go into our own world, and our own world for this particular night was very real worldy, and we can't be interrupted right now because y'all don't know what we're talking about. You don't want to know what we're talking about, and we're also going crazy over here on our side of the table. So go ahead, send those lychee martinis, and and like every now and again we'll pause and we'll listen to what they're saying, you know, just make sure that they're not saying the things that we don't want them to say, and then go back into our thing. And she just was like, it was one of those things where she has a very specific niche understanding of like what I was talking about, and she was just like, girl. I was like, I know, she's watching in real time. I was like, girl, I know. She's like,
That's
but
nice.
what? I was like, exactly, I don't know exactly.
It's nice that you have those friendships.
I have that one, yeah, which is
Well,
still
but
so
now you have
bizarre.
Danny and Kelly.
I know.
I'm so happy for the three of you. Like, it's been so heartwarming to watch the show and understand, you know, that you guys lost contact for years and years and years and years. And now seeing you guys as like fully realized adults and coming, you know, back into this experience and then coming out as friends, it's really lovely.
Oh, thank you. It's been so nice. Like, it's so like, but still what's crazy is I went on Dave Holmes' podcast.
I heard it. That was good.
And I have always had like an admiration for Dave Holmes because he too was plucked from obscurity and like brought into MTV level fame.
Yeah.
But while his was not about his personal, you know, life and stuff, he wasn't out at that time, you know. So like we just have a super weird Venn diagram of like understanding each other. And when I explained to him that we, you know, might be friends with other real world people, we don't talk about it. Because me and Irulan don't, unless we were talking about this specific thing, homecoming, whatever, we don't sit around and talk about real world. Like,
Yeah.
there's storylines on her season of real world that I don't even know about because I didn't watch Vegas like that. Like, I don't know all of that. So, Dave Holm was saying, yeah, that there's people that, like, from the VJ contest or like other kind of like talking head journalist MTV people where they have very similar stories on how they came to be doing what they're doing. And he's like, and we all just don't talk about it. It's a weird thing.
Well, I mean, it is and it isn't, because it's such a small blip in your life. And I could see where, like, maybe when you first came out of it, if you were in those circles, you would be more inclined to talk about it. But it's like, I don't know if anybody listening just looks at like a random 6 months of their life where like maybe something was happening. Do you revisit that all the time? And if you do, maybe examine that. Like, why are we stuck in that place? So, I mean, you have so many other things going on in your life. I can understand why now it would be a point of conversation, but I can't imagine that you guys would get together and be like, hey, remember in 2000 when I was buying a vintage coat in the store? Like, it just seems weird.
And you know what's so crazy? I don't remember buying that vintage coat. I don't. I don't remember so much of that. Like the other day, someone pointed me to a tweet of me using a calling card on a payphone.
Oh, I saw that.
Doing that. I do not remember doing that. I don't.
But you holding your nose in that picture is you. Like, that is you do that thing. You touch your nose and like sniff a lot. I saw that picture and I was like, that's Melissa holding her nose. That sounds really stupid to say, but like,
that's my fucking allergies that I've had forever. I know, that's so weird. And then those were my nail beds. Those were my exact nail beds. I was like, dude, that's what my hand really looks like. It's crazy.
I'm sure. I can't imagine what it must feel like. How are you? I mean, we're now 2 weeks in. We're going into week 3. How are you holding up?
You know what, Amanda? I got to be honest with you. It's what a relief that I did all of that worrying and got it out of my system. I still have, the body has a memory.
Yeah.
So, like, they say water has memory. The body has memory.
Yeah.
Like, all day tomorrow, Tuesday, my stomach's going to hurt. That's just I'm going to be in an active panic. Because if you think about it, a lot of people that have come off of reality TV have like a layer of PTSD. And so the memory that my body is having is remembering the feeling of not knowing what's about to come out on national television, shot straight into the eyeballs of millions and millions of people. So it's the not knowing. It's like a stage fright.
That makes sense.
Sensation. So I have that, and I've been waking up. I have odd waking hours. So 2 a.m, I'll wake up and I'll go to my little office and do office work or whatever, just to get my fucking mind off of it. But the clammy hands, the fucking constant swallowing, the sweaty armpits, the the shivering, I have all of that, and it's a physical reaction in my body, even though there's no danger. I mean, the biggest danger could be, maybe I look ugly or I parted my hair and that doesn't look right. Or I'm serious. There's a couple of times where I'm just like, why they fucking stop on that? Just because I'm not a person that has her picture taken, and I don't like having my picture taken. So having a moving picture to represent who I am every single day, like, is fucking scary. But also, the thing that gets me through is motherfuckers are like, bitch, I fucked with you in 2000 big time. And I forgot that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're in it and you live it, and you forget that you matter in some way. Might not be the most profound of ways, but it's been crazy. Going into week 3, it's been crazy. But like, I also a year ago was like, I gotta just survive the 8 weeks. I gotta just survive. Like, everything was let me fucking pack my bags and get there. That's one survival. Let me finish this fucking quarantine. That's one survival. Let me move into this house and stay inside my body, girl. That's one survival. So now we're in the we're approaching the finish line. I got 6 more weeks of this, and then it dies down, goes away. I don't know if it goes away because it's streaming forever, but like
Yeah.
it couldn't have it's been good so far. Don't get me wrong, I have moments where I'm like, oh God, I exist in the world again.
Yeah.
And I don't love it. I don't love it. It's scary, but shit, man. Andy said, "Go and get your rewards, bitch." That's what he said.
Did.
He did. No, I feel that shit. But you know what else is cool? And I have to say this, and like this is why, I feel like having cultivated the 20 years of online parasocial like friendships and community is truly half the battle in feeling safe doing this. Like, I know it doesn't matter if I appear one-dimensional or whatever on that show. I know that there are people that have rocked with me for 20 fucking years that are like, oh, well, of course that's what the fuck she said. That's what she would have said. That's who she is, and I understand these other layers of her. Having community and having, just someone have your back. Someone. It could be anybody. Who knows? That's the way that it has felt safe. Which is fucking, all that is creating a village. The technology might have changed, but that's just creating a village. And me hunkering down, that's what the fuck that was. And I'm like so thankful for it. So if you're listening to this and you've been fucking with my Patreon, and you've been fucking with me for a long time, following me on my log tweets and my other shit, bitch, you helped me do this. So thank you.
Aww.
You included, bitch.
That's nice. Oh, good. Oh, thanks. I'm happy to help.
I'm serious, like, safe space is sacred in this motherfucker, especially, the way that the world works now, where you could be the main character on Twitter and your life is over. It's a wrap.
Oh. Who needs that? Nobody needs that.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm feeling okay.
Woo! Well, that's good. I feel like I was thinking about this on my way home from work today. Like, everybody in my life that's like an important part of my life right now, everybody is having these like amazing moments, and it feels really good. As I was coming home, like the sun is shining, the windows are down, and I was just like, wow, everything feels really amazing right now. I feel like I was thinking this too. I should give an update because I realized that I haven't shared. So when we left off at the end of last season, I was telling you that my dad was getting ready because he was going to have his surgery. So for those of you who haven't been in the Discord, who are not in Patreon and didn't get this information, my dad had a surgery. He spent quite a bit of time in the hospital with some complications, but he was released from inpatient rehab 2 weeks ago. He is cancer-free. He does not have to do any further treatments. They're just going to scan him every 3 months and check him out. But I was like, my dad is thriving. He has the best silver fox beard right now. It is so good.
He looks I saw him at the soccer game, and he looks so youthful and so cute and so dapper with the hair combed back. I said, "Okay, Jim."
I know. I told him he was using this like box dye to color it, and I get it. I mean, who wants to like look old, especially when you don't feel it? But I was like, when he was in the hospital, I said, stop that immediately. Let your hair be natural, because I said, I can guarantee you it's going to look better than what this box dye does. And then his beard was coming in, and he got out of the car for baseball the other day, and I was like, okay, Silver Fox. I was like, yes, let's keep this beard going, because he's been facial hair free for the last 10 years. My girlfriend just got a job as an art teacher. She like wanted that shit in the district with her kids. She just got that. Asha had her thing. You're having your moment. Everybody is just like living it up, and it feels so good.
It's crazy, right?
It is. I just feel like everything is, and I don't know, maybe it was because I was in such a dark hole for the last year, and
Well,
now
I
that,
mean, rightfully so. That was a roller coaster. I have to say though, when we would talk and your dad was having complications, like, uh, I don't know who I was having a conversation with, but I was like, listen, um, if things go down, I gotta get to Ohio.
ugh,
And then I started like doing the calculus in my head of like, huh, so you've never met this woman, but if shit goes down,
you'd go
that's
to
the
Ohio.
that's the that's the
Aw.
power of friendship though. If shit had to go down, I would be like, well, I guess we're just gonna meet at the funeral. Like that sounds crazy. You know what I mean? Like, but
Yeah.
you have to fucking figure out how you show up for people. And so
Aw.
I was having those conversations, on my own, just like, which would it be? Like, you have to figure out like what levels you're on, because
Yeah.
there's different levels. There's, would I pick you up at the airport? Sure,
Mm-hmm.
I could pick you up at the airport. I could pick you up at the airport. You're a good enough friend. I could do that for you.
Oh,
But like,
wow.
we're at an age where if shit goes down with our families, we got to know how to show up.
Yeah.
And sometimes showing up and being quiet is how to do it. Other times is staying away and
Mm-hmm.
sending food is how to do it. So I was like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. We're in a great in between, because we've never met face to face or in person,
Yeah.
to like what that would be. But also it's so morbid to even think like that. So you're also trying not to think like that, because you got to stay positive. But like, knowing what I know about how close you are to your dad and how much you love your dad, like,
Mm-hmm.
it would have been like, bro, we got to get on a plane.
Oh,
And
that's
like,
nice.
and then you would have been like, you really didn't have to. And then I'd be like, yeah, I kind of did have to. I
Oh.
hope you like me. Um, like, honestly though, think about, like, how fucking weird that would have been.
To like all of a sudden meet in like a terrible tragedy. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it would
But
have
I
been
mean,
nice. I would appreciate it.
yeah, where are you staying, Melissa? I'm staying at the Holiday Inn Express, old off of 70. Yeah, I don't know where to go, girl. Like, how would I have even, because I don't know your sister's phone number. How would I have known to call? You know what I'm saying? Like, actually,
Yeah.
how would that have worked? I would have had to call Chris.
Yeah, you would have had to call Chris. Which also, I swear, hindsight is 2020, and I was having a conversation this weekend, and I really, as fucked up as the last year was, as fucked up as those 9 weeks were when my dad was in the hospital, looking back on it now, I am thankful that it happened, because it really, like, it made my marriage that much better. Going back to therapy has made, I I haven't been in therapy that long, that the things that I've talked about with her and the things that I've done have, I've been putting them into practice, and I feel so much better about it. And I was able to have a conversation with my sister this weekend, because we were, I mean, we didn't talk. We would check in here and there, but we had these moments. She texted me one night when she was there, and she sent a picture of my dad, and she was like, "Is he gonna make it through this?" And I was wrestling with those feelings myself, because it felt like we were so deep in the hole, and I had to put on this fake, yeah, he's gonna be fine, everything's gonna be great, even though inside I was wrestling with those same things too. And
Yeah.
it was nice to be able to have that conversation this weekend. And I was just like, I was so fucked up. I felt so alone in this, and I was doing this by myself. And I hated, I hated the way that I was feeling, and I hated the way that I was feeling about you. And, I'm sorry that I couldn't do a better job, in this moment. And I was like, but honestly, people say, take care of yourself, don't wear yourself thin. And there's no way to not get completely entrenched in feelings and fear when somebody that you love is going through something really serious. And So it's been a blessing, at the end of the day, not to sound, I don't want to like put a happy bow on it, but it's been really helpful. And Chris
Knocking
is,
on wood.
thank goodness for Chris, because he really fucking held me down for the entire time. So Chris Strong, I love you.
So
I'll see you
wait,
on Wednesday night.
did you, oh, she got her appointment lined up Wednesday night. She said, "I'm putting on this outfit." Did you see these high heels? I saw them sequin high heels you bought. Oh, Chris said, "Let me go ahead and get my rewards." Andy didn't even talk to him. He said, "Let me walk through this door and get my reward." Bow, bow, bow. No, isn't that crazy? It was just some fucking Gloria Stefan shit coming out of that dark. Because you were in the dark. You were fucking down bad, homie.
Oh, there was one night where I just stood in the shower and cried, and I felt empty. And while I wrestle with anxiety, I think the last time that I really felt like I was wrestling with depression was when everything was happening with Luca. So it's been a long time of just feeling like I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to get out of bed. It was a struggle to like, I could only focus on like the things that I had to do to keep everybody moving ahead. Packing lunches. I didn't even have to pack a fucking lunch. Chris was doing that. Chris was packing lunches. Chris was, putting them to bed at night. I was just like a shell of a human being. But
Right, but he gave you that space to wallow. He gave you that space to wallow, and that's part of the taking care. It's just like she fucking opened her eyelids and she drank a sip of coffee and she had some water and now she's laying down. That's what she could do today.
Yeah.
Now, in regard to your sister, does she have the same daddy's girl closeness that you do, or is it different? Because like me and Marlene have a different relationship with Shorty. Good relationship, but different.
Yeah, I think that our relationship is definitely different. Yeah, and I don't know if that's birth order. I don't know if that's personality. My sister has always been. I don't know how to explain this. Like, okay, so when I moved back to Cincinnati from Florida, I had like a standing, like Chris and I would meet my parents every Friday night for dinner at this Mexican restaurant where we lived. And I was, over at their house every single day. My sister was just like off doing her thing. She would like peep in from time to time. I mean, she was still here in Cincinnati. She would come in, but it wasn't the same, like, she just maybe more independent.
Mm-hmm.
Separated herself maybe a little bit differently from that parental relationship than I did. I tended to hold on to it a little bit more. So I think, they're close and it's loving, but it's different.
So when she was wrestling in those 9 weeks, y'all didn't have any idea of how each was feeling.
No.
Wow.
Because I would just leave the hospital, send the voice message to everybody that needed it, and then leave it alone. I don't talk to me about it because I can't keep doing this over and over and over again. So I really just was like, please don't ask me any other questions. I've given you everything that I know, and now I have to like turn my brain off from that for a little bit and, take somebody to soccer practice or whatever it was.
So how did y'all approach this conversation the other day? Like, I'm fascinated. Because I think you and your sister are so different. Like, me and Marlene are very different.
Yeah.
But, I think Marlene and I have, like, similar mannerisms and similar temperament and similar goofiness. But, like, with your sister, I think you guys are completely different people.
100%. We couldn't be any more different. I don't even remember how it came up. I took her with me Saturday night to the show, and we went and had dinner next door afterwards. And it's funny because I was just like sitting there eating and I was just letting her talk. Like, I swear to God, I finished my meal and she still had like a full plate left because she was just like talking about everything. I don't even...
Which is a testament to you. I mean, when was the last time that she really probably had an opportunity to talk to another woman that knew her shit? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So we talked about we were talking about her kids and her boyfriend and her current relationship, and she was talking about school. And then somehow something came up about my dad. She was like, I recognized that like I wasn't available. And I said, I know. And I know that you had your own, circus to deal with. And I wish that you had been more available, but I understand why you weren't. And I said, and I'm not going to dismiss the feelings that I had around it because I was drowning for a lot of it. But I also understand that, like, I can't make you do what you don't have, the capacity to deal with. So we didn't get too deep into it. And I still think that, there will have to be conversations that come up around it because it was kind of that first time, you're facing a health crisis for someone and you're not sure what the outcome is going to be. I think that, moving forward, I mean, nobody gets off this planet alive and we're going to have to deal with, harder things as the years pass. And so we probably should use this as an opportunity to say, okay, this is what we're not going to do next time. Like, I'm not going to silo myself and deal with this on my own. And also you can't, step out of this because things are going on in your life. Like, at some point we're going to have to come together as a unified team and like deal with whatever comes together so that, one person doesn't leave feeling stranded or like they're shouldering everything.
Yeah. Man, that's wild. Because we have, I haven't hit that point yet with Shorty and Mercy. But
Yeah.
also
Lucky.
we are careening toward elderly, like,
Yeah.
they're old, we're old,
Yeah,
they're old.
We're old.
And I just also can't, Justin Beck has already made it very clear. He's like, yeah, when it's time for your parents to start dwindling down, but you're going there. Cause
Yeah.
no, like, he's like, they cannot come here. No.
Well, it's hard to get them. That's a whole plane ride. That's hard when you're old.
No, I said I'll move them in here, like, when they need.
Oh, and he's like, the fuck you will.
Yeah, he's like, dude.
You're living in Tampa.
He was like, the thing is, he's like, one Howard is a lot. 3 Howards? Whoa.
Well, Melissa Beck, I will come with you because I do enjoy Tampa. And I'll come help you.
Listen, I'll take Mercy. I'll take Mercy here. Shorty, I just know when
Give
it
him
comes time
Marlene.
for me to have to oh God. Because he's just going to have so many specificities. That ain't how he likes his shower. I just, oh my God. And like, I also like, when old people get super old and then their brain starts, like, the synapses are all off, and like, I know that Shorty's just gonna like be one of those brutally honest old people. And ain't nobody ready for all that.
Just ordering you around mean as fuck.
The thing is, though, like, I think about that stuff too, like, in terms of like the old people in our life getting older. Like, I know that I'll take care of Justin's mom. Me and his sister will like divvy that up and do that together. I know that because she also is going to have wild specificities. I know a lot about her, and that's not how she gets her turkey sliced. That's not going to fly.
That's really sweet, though. It's it's something that you have to start thinking about when you hit a certain age, because I think to not plan for it or to even just spend some time considering it will leave you reeling when it does happen.
Yeah. And also, like, my parents have made very plainly clear that they never want to be in a nursing home facility. They just never want to do that. Of course, Tampa is known for having the most nursing home facilities per capita, or whatever the statistic is. And also because I did that when I was younger. Mm-hmm. There's so much about it that I know about.
Yeah.
I just would never do that to them. I just would never do that to them. But also knowing that I would not do that to them means that I know me and Marlene are going to be shouldering a lot of work.
Yeah.
Wow. Which is weird because I also have always felt like, this is going to sound terrible, but like at some point in my young adult life, I started to feel like I was the mom. You know, like, Daddy, you have to do this. If you don't do that, this is going to happen. And this. Mom, what are you talking about? If you don't take care of that, then this is going to happen. And Marlene has that too. So it'll just be us in hyper mode taking care of very old curmudgeonly people. And just imagining what that's going to do to our everyday lives.
Yeah.
Wow. Sorry, Justin. I'm moving him up here. That's what we're going to do. He's going to be like, no, I heard your podcast. No, absolutely not.
Speaking of, this is so funny. I was worried that my therapist might Google this and try to find it. Over Easter weekend, something came up about the podcast, and my sister-in-law looked at me and she's like, you know what? I'm so sorry. I never listened to it. And I was like, actually, that is the best answer that you could ever give. And then this weekend, my sister said the same. I haven't been listening much lately, but she did catch the episode, I think it was Mason Jar, where we talked about how much I hate a Catholic wedding that has a full mass attached to it. And as she's talking with her boyfriend about, you know, getting married someday, he's Catholic and would like to have a wedding in the Catholic church. She's like, so can I count on you to like not be there? And I was like, I'll see you at the reception. Thank you so much. I didn't even have to have that conversation because thanks to this podcast, she heard I'm not coming to your Catholic mass. So there has been some good and some.
Dude, I have some friends who they're like, I love you from, you know, my one friend was like, Melissa, I'm sorry, I haven't seen anything. I haven't paid attention. She's like, really what I'm most excited about is like what's next. So like, please don't take offense that I haven't watched your stuff. And I'm thinking to myself, girl, don't nobody want you watching? You do not need to listen. You do not need to watch. You need to just love me from afar. And when I come up out of this cloud, it'll be fine. For real. Like, I don't.
Yeah. You know what? How has that been going on? Like, I know that JJ's watched, and I would assume that Lisa has as well. But like, what about like Claire and Jen? Have they been?
Oh, they're watching, honey. My friend Claire, my friend Jen, and my friend Jamie are involved, baby.
Yeah.
They like the show. They're like, yes. They listen. Everybody's being. I have a wonderful group of cheerleaders who, you know, they were there for me when I got home. I think Marlene hasn't seen it yet, though. My niece is watching. Kira's watching.
Yeah.
But Kira's watching and is like, dude, we're exactly the same person. I'm like, no,
Aww.
you are me because I got here first. Let's not get crazy, little girl. Meanwhile, she's 27. Yeah, it's been weird. I don't know if Jeff and Burnett have figured out how to watch.
Yeah.
I don't know if my sister-in-law is watching, but it's one of those things too where we're all just not talking about it. Like, I don't know when they watch or if they have. You know, I only know when they text me and go, you know, everybody, of course, will have a comment about whatever's happening. And I just be like, girl. But yeah, listen, even if I wasn't on the show and it wasn't a part of my life, I think that the way that the show is going and like the way that the show is making people feel, it's a fucking good show.
It's great.
It's excellently done.
Ooh, last week watching Danny, I never even considered his relationship with Paul after the show ended, and how stressful that had to have been. And just hearing him share, you could tell it was so painful, kind of going back to that time and thinking about it. So I think that a lot of people are having a lot of big feelings because we were also watching it as like young, dumb kids without any kind of like real life experience. And so now to view it, you know, out of this adult lens and being able to try to put yourself in those shoes, it's really good. It's really compelling.
Yeah, Danny's story is the one that's like really, it's just crazy to me because on an abstract level, when you think about like a homophobic U.S. policy, Like
Mm-hmm.
everybody thought that that was the compromise. People thought that that was progressive, and we all accepted that for what it was. Like, okay, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
okay, they can serve, but they can't be who they are. Like all of us were like, yeah, cool. What?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then to know that, like, to see Danny's story and understand that it's not some abstract thing. This is someone's life that you fucked with. This is
Yep.
someone's life that was hard. And imagine the mind fuck it was for him to finally comes out on national television.
Yep.
Says, and I think there was a clip of him as like young, spry, cute little Danny the child who's like, I said I was gay and I felt alive for the first time. Like
Yes.
how liberating that was. And then
Yeah.
to have that taken away.
Yep.
So he basically came out just to go back in.
Yeah.
So it was like so unfair. And like when he was talking about it, you could see in his body language, you could see in the quiet pausing, how he had to take that gulp of water. I was like, his body's having memory right now. I was like, oh
Yeah.
shit, this is happening. Um, and I don't know. Every time I check in with him, every time we talk, I'd be like, I just like to remind him. I'm like, you're special. Because he is. It's like I didn't think. Like I lived it and I was there, but I didn't think about it until he spoke it aloud.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have the framing that he had until he said it out loud, and just knowing just how much sadness it was
Yeah.
made me so sad.
While you were in the thick of it, did you guys have any opportunity to speak privately with one another as things were happening without the cameras being there? Or were you kind of always on high alert to, to not? I mean, I could imagine that at some point you wanted to have a private conversation. Was that possible?
Texting.
Okay.
Uh, and here's the part that's like, I think I went into that situation like, let's say I noticed something I'm feeling someone's energy and I'm feeling like, oh God, there's something they want to protect that they don't want to have on the TV show or whatever. I had a private conversation with Tokyo before we even moved into the house, and I was like, listen, if there's something that you have weird feelings about as it relates to that show, like if we're in there and we're watching old packages and that shit sucks, because imagine it, you're sitting on this fucking couch having to watch shit and then answer to that shit 22 years later.
Yeah.
Like, that's not fucking cool. That sucks.
Yeah.
And like, I wanted to know, specifically with him too. I was just like, if there's some shit that happens there that you have weird feelings about, tell me now, and I will not be the person that pushes that conversation forward. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, I will sit quietly and not participate if that's what it means to make you feel safe.
Yeah.
Because we would know, like, your package is coming up, like, and your package is the thing where it's just a whole fucking day of let's talk about all the stupid shit Melissa did that time, like.
Did you have any warning? So, like, when it says incoming message,
Nope.
you didn't know what was coming.
No, we would all just look around and be like, I think it's your turn. Definitely you. Because
Oh,
remember yesterday it was
God.
me. And yeah. And like you just wouldn't know. And so I was on high alert every day. Like I think I had literally a cocktail at drag night. And
Yeah.
I had her make it very specifically. That shit had a sip of vodka in it.
Yeah.
Just because I needed to stay present and clear minded the entire time. Because,
Yeah.
I had to have my wits about me. I had to have my fucking mind right.
Right.
But yeah, I was able to get to know Kelly via text. We just laid in the bed side by side. Oh, really? And did you go vacation here? Oh, what was it like having your third child? Like regular shit. Regular shit. I'm talking like getting to know each other, regular shit. Did you breastfeed? That type of shit.
Yeah. It's like imperfect strangers, but via text.
Yeah, side by side, sitting there. And,
Oh.
but there was, like one time there was a game that they wanted us to play of like a fishbowl game, and you pull the thing out of the hat, and it was like, it was kind of like to get us to talk about our everyday life, because there's a
Yeah.
part of it too where I think that the viewing audience does want to know what you do every day. Like, what do you do for money? Where do you go for fun? Like,
Yeah.
how did you meet your husband? All that type of stuff. But some people don't want to share that stuff. And so there's no way to gauge what not to share. So they made us play this game to like see what we'd be willing to share on that. But like, I also wasn't trying to have conversations like that unless the person like invited me to that conversation. You know, like I sat around and talked to Matt about his wife and about homeschooling and stuff like that, because that's the stuff he wants to talk about. I'm not going to sit there and try to talk to somebody about some shit they don't want to talk about, because I'm also not here to go to therapy with your ass. I'm feeling crazy too.
Right. Now, like when that stuff came up, for example, I keep thinking of this incoming message because it feels very invasive. Did you guys have a beat to kind of like sit down and gather yourself, or did you watch it and have to engage immediately? Like,
Yes.
Oh God.
So they play the package, and then we all just look at each other like, and then you start sort of having this conversation about the thing that was on the package. And you know, sometimes we're on that couch, like that first scene after we watched that thing, we were on that couch for hours.
Ooh.
There was a lot on the cutting room floor.
Wow. Oh gosh, that doesn't sound like fun.
It was very stressful. We arrived, you know, very shortly after one another and were reunited, and then, you know, shit literally popped off.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, it wasn't like we were there hours and hours and getting to know each other and this and that. It was a hug. It was like, oh, let's look at we looked in the fridge, you know, we put our shit down. We had a drink or two, and then it was off to the races. It wasn't like we could sit around and get to know each other. And for the most part, it was just like, wow, Tokyo, tell me everything. And like, you know, it was super good, great energy until it wasn't. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So,
that feels very stressful. I can't even imagine. I mean, I would. That's a lot of people time. That's a lot of being on. I
Listen,
probably would have like gone to bed and slept for 12 hours every night.
Dude, I had a weighted blanket delivered to the hotel at the time, just because I needed to have tools. I had a weighted blanket delivered. I was in the shower by 8 p.m. every night. Just because once I take my makeup off, once I take my face off, I'm done talking. Don't come in here. We are done talking. I don't bring that camera in here. Don't do that. And I set those boundaries for myself, just because it's a long day, and a camera, like, you're under constant surveillance. That's what it was like. So once I took my makeup off, I also didn't, I know it's probably going to seem like I'm standoffish or whatever. I mean, who knows how it's going to play out in the edit. But I didn't do, like, sitting around and talking just to be talking. Nah, motherfucker. I'm going to talk when I have to talk during the incoming message. I'm going to have, like, normal conversations about hummus and fucking, pita with Kelly, and let's make a cheese tray. Like, but, like, feelings and shit, no. That's for that stupid-ass couch.
Yeah.
And, the outings or whatever that they made us go on, I participated in those and, connected, on the car rides and whatever. But, like, and I think that if I would have had this mindset back then,
I
would have saved myself a lot of trouble.
Well, I think it's a lot to ask of yourself or to ask of others to be total strangers for 22 years and then all of a sudden and pick back up like no time has gone by. Like, you spent 6 months together. It wasn't like you lived with these people for years or had time to forge really deep, true relationships. So,
well, the thing is, though, we're all trauma bonded. That's the part that people aren't. Like, when it's hard for people to understand that we didn't keep in touch, because why wouldn't we keep in touch? We're the only 7 people in the world who can understand what this feels like. But
you don't want to be.
When you distill it down, is the reason why we didn't keep in touch is because each of us are a trigger for each other. I might very well have had a beautiful relationship with Kelly had we been able to forge one, but
Yeah.
I represent that thing for her and she represents that thing for me, and I
Yeah.
wasn't doing that thing. It was like that. And even Danny explained it during homophilia. He was like, yeah, Kelly and I have always remained close, and she's my sister, but there are whole entire swaths of information and time that we did not share together that was about that, because we don't talk about that.
Yeah.
So, and the other thing is, like, didn't talk to these people for 22 years, but still felt like as I kept getting the call that, you know, such and such signed on, such and such signed on, it started to feel like really a lot of pressure, because you don't want to be the person that fucks up somebody's money.
Yeah.
Like, because if you don't do it, then everybody can't do it, which I also now think was a lie. There's no way. There's no way. They were going to, if they got 6, they would have done it.
You think so?
I do. Because the money was spent. They were building
Yeah.
that fucking house.
Yeah.
The money was spent. They were doing it. And they would have probably just kept calling and kept calling and kept calling and been like, Melissa, you sure you don't want to come? You sure don't want to come? But like after a while, you just keep, the guilt was compounding. It was like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
I'm going to be the reason why people don't go or whatever. And then also
Yeah.
the general public, Melissa didn't show up. What the fuck? You know what I mean? Like there's a whole lot to it. So it was like I had a responsibility and a loyalty to these 6 motherfuckers that I don't even talk to or know. And then I also had it to the millions of people that wanted to see like where we were now. So
Yeah.
it's almost like I didn't have a choice. It's crazy if you think about it like that.
Yeah.
And so then I said, if I have to do it, then I'm just going to go in there and do it right, which is have my motherfucking mind right and say what the fuck I mean and mean what the fuck I say.
Gavel emoji.
Yeah, pretty much. Bow, bow.
Well, I've been enjoying it, and
Thanks. I think it's great too. I do.
I think it's good. I think I saw somebody's tweet that was like, "I need more reality shows. It's just like a bunch of tired adults," and I was like, "Right?"
Yeah, I do. I think that's totally compelling. I do.
I do too.
Wowzers.
Wowzers! It's Mother's Day this weekend coming up.
Is it?
Yes.
What
do
am
you
I gonna
mean,
get?
Is it? I don't know.
Hey, you
I've
know,
already.
I don't be paying attention.
I last week I started prepping my children. I said, "Okay, strong children, on Saturday, it is the month of mommy. So how will you be celebrating me in my full glory as the goddess that I am on Mother's Day? And then you have about 2 weeks to get it together to celebrate me for my milestone birthday." Listen, I need presents on presents. I need pros, flowers,
Yeah.
a whole ass breakfast in bed. Leave me the
Oh,
fuck
don't bring me no
alone.
breakfast in bed. Don't bring you no breakfast in bed.
No breakfast
because then
in
I got to clean
bed?
that up. No. I don't like crumbs and shit. Don't do that. Don't do
Oh,
that.
I love it.
I got this white bedding. Get the fuck out of here. How about y'all just get out?
Bennett will make my coffee. Bennett will bring me a mimosa. I'll sit there and watch Dateline or whatever until my heart's content. Love it.
I gotta think about what I'm gonna get. Ooh.
You got to start priming your children, please. They need to be at Justin's,
No, you know what? I like to not prime them because I like to see how raggedy it's gonna be. Oh God, what'd you get me?
I am going to cut right to the chase. Ready? Get your notepad and paper. You can find us over on Instagram, our preferred social media for this podcast at imperfectstrangers_podcast. Turn on your notifications so that you will be notified for when we have our Monday night lives. They're typically every Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern, but sometimes life happens and we have to bump things around. So make sure those notifications are on. If you haven't yet, we have all of our interactive visual stories that go along with every episode. So if you're new here and you're just starting out, check out those highlights on Instagram if you want that visual element to go along with it. If you want to throw some ducats in our little bags, you can over at patreon.com/imperfect strangers. We have newsletters, a private Discord server, bonus episodes, archived Monday Night Lives, and lots of special little benefits. We've had watch parties. We had private Monday Night Live Zooms for all of our patrons while we were on hiatus. So if you want to be in the inner circle, that sounds creepy, like it's a cult. It is a cult though, kind of, maybe, but like a really nice one where it doesn't end in murder, suicide. You can join us over on Patreon. What else? What else do I need to tell you? I think that's it. If you feel so inclined and you listen on Apple Podcasts, you can leave us a rating and a review. We would appreciate those 5 stars. It lets other people know that we are worth their time listening. And in the meantime, you be well. We will see you next week, and we'll be back with another episode next Friday. You can listen to this show anywhere you listen to podcasts except for Spotify. So there's that. All right. Be good to each other. Goodbye.